Good afternoon, world. This is Dr. Jeffrey Lant speaking to you from rain-swept Cambridge, Massachusetts, where we have just had the pleasure of supporting the Ethiopian and Kenyan governments for the again this year at the Boston Marathon. It was all West Africa. No, East Africa. Got it wrong. It was all East Africa. The Kenyans, the Ethiopians took home the bacon again. We're going to discuss that a little bit later on, but this is also the 2-year anniversary of the Boston Marathon murders. At 7 o'clock this evening Eastern Time, my colleague Elizabeth English, and those very deeply moving, traumatizing days of 2 years ago to the minute. We're going to be reliving them at 7 p.m. Eastern Time right here. We'd like you to come to hear our experiences, which are right off the cutting edge. We were there. And I have as my impromptu colleague, Popular Scotsman of your Dale Thompson. David, ask from Dale now. Speak to whomever you wish to speak to, and then we're going to get going.
Just want to welcome everybody to our program today, and for those of you that are on the outside looking in, we do want to invite you to scroll down the page and fill out that short form and come on in and say hi to Dr. Lant and me so we can get you started on the path to profit. It is a great day to make money.
And I wanted to remind everyone, this is Anything Goes. This is the longest running live program on the internet by far. And when we say anything, we have had some anything moments here, ranging from the completely absurd to the deeply mournful and even godly moments that we've had here at the Live Business Center. My name is Dr. Jeffrey Lant. I am speaking to you from Cambridge, Massachusetts, the capital of the internet. We are speaking to you from our American office. We are a Canadian corporation based in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, where we have been for 23 years. We're one of the longest-running corporations on the internet, and we've helped millions of people across the years, and we're going to help you right now. I have an extremely extraordinary event to announce, and that is this. Starting now, and for the next 25 people only, or anyone who gets this on YouTube months from now, you can cite this date, April 20th, 2015. You can be excited, and we will honor the offer we're making today. Even if you get it at Christmas, even if you get it the 4th of July, we're going to honor it, okay? That's incredible. This is the deal. Dale and I are going to present to you a series of offers, but here's the pièce de résistance. We're going to give you a 1 month of service for free. 1 month. That is to say, you're going to get buy one, get two. Buy 1 month, get 2 months for free. So I don't care how slow you are, what a slow learner you are, we've got you covered. If you waste the whole month, you're still ahead of the game. Dale, can you believe that? I'm giving them 25 people. We're going to count them. Nobody's going to sneak under the wire. We're going to get it, and first we're away. 3 months, 2 months for the price of one. Dale, comment.
That's awesome. I mean, if you can't in 60 days come in here and make this thing pay for itself, then all you need to do is follow directions and be able to copy and paste. And if you can do that and you have some time to work it, you'll be on, you'll be making this thing self-financing in no time before you have to take any more money out of pocket. So that is, we try to help everyone, but especially those marketers that really want to build a business, but maybe in countries that it's not the easiest in the world to do so. And this is something that is going to absolutely help them tremendously by providing an extra month for them to get their feet on the ground and the cash flowing. So that's a great offer.
This is for 25 smart people. There are over 3 billion people on this earth who are trying to build home-based businesses. They don't have any of the internet services that we have. They don't have the fellowship of the community, the working together that we have, or we were doing for 23 years. Well, we have been here live for 23 years. We have the highest corporate rating of the Canadian Better Business Bureau. We are registered with the Canadian Corporate Authorities, never had an incident of any kind. Look us up. We are transparent. Look me up. I'm Dr. Jeffrey Lant. You go over there to Google and type in my name. I think you're going to be suitably astonished. We are what we say we are. We do what we say we'll do. And we're sitting here ready to do it for you if you've got half a brain. We also want to call in some chips here. We have Mr. Robert Wesley Norman. He's been bragging at me for so many months I can't count that high about how good he is as a marketer, how big his lists are, how many dollars he has in the bank, how many banks he controls. It's right out of Jimmy Stewart, and It's a Wonderful Life. I've told him to place his money where his mouth is, and to bring home some of those people into our 24-hour. I offered him the possibility of selling our 25 offers to him. And I've told him this. He won't do one. You know how I always bet. He's not going to do a single one. That's what I'm going to say. But it's, at the very least, I'm going to put that yappity yap and yakety yak. They all come back. I'm going to put that to bed. What do you say about that, Dale? People are yapping on there, telling you this, telling you how good they are, telling you how much they can do, telling you how they beat you in their sleep. What do you think about all that?
Well, you know, at some point, you got to put your money where your mouth is, for sure. If you're going to do all the bragging, you got to back it up, in my book.
Lay it on me, Norman. If you win fair and square, I'm going to say it. But you won't win fair and square. That's my belief. Now, Casimir and Rufus, we have a special offer for you. And here's how we work it here, folks. When I'm in the charge of this commander post, you get 2 minutes, and if you don't respond, Dale Thompson is going to kick your butt back to Poughkeepsie. You got me? You got 2 minutes to take up the most valuable offer on the internet today. If you haven't got the brains to see it, then go away. Go away. Go to somewhere else where you think it's better. Lee Iacocca is my idol. He said, if you can find a better car, buy it. And I say, if you can find a better internet marketing business, go ahead and do it with our blessings. What do you think about that, Mr. Dale? I'm calling them, and they're going to put my thumb right on them. No doubt, Dr. Lant. This is... See?
When you look at
see the weasels? Don't you weasel me, boy. Carry on.
Now, when you consider how many big marketers got their start here at Worldprofit, it's mind-blowing. It really is. And it's just a testament
you know what it is?
to the fact that
we are the best. People come here, and you can't hardly scrape the internet from here to there without running into a graduate of one of our programs.
Absolutely.
It just doesn't exist. And you know what I say to them? You forget your roots, baby.
George Kosh in some way. You know,
yeah, absolutely. Or he's heard of me.
Has been, mentored by him in some way, shape, or form. So
now we like being the ultimate repository of your education, but we'd sure like it better if you joined us again and brought some of that education we brought to you. Bring that baby back to us. I'm going to tell you a story. It was about Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill. Now, you will know the President Reagan, but I don't know if you know Congressman O'Neill. He was a congressman for Cambridge for so many years.
Yep, I remember.
Friend of the colleague,
him.
Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives. Yep. I'm going to tell you the story.
Yep.
Tip O'Neill goes to the White House one day for famous breakfast meetings. He says, Mr. President, would you like me to tell you how come you is the President of these United States? Well, Reagan says, well, man, Tip, I surely would like to know why I am the President. So he says, you remember Mr. Franklin D. Roosevelt? Oh, Tip, I believe I do. You didn't vote for him, did you, sir? Well, yes, twice I actually did. I voted for Harry Truman, too, if you wanted to throw it in. But those are called Democrats, Mr. President. Yes, they were. They were called Democrats. He said, this is the deal. We Democrats pump so much good programs into the economy that we turn them all into Republicans. The richer they got, the more Republican they became. And I feel like Ronald Reagan, because we have helped so many people in every country of this planet. And I say we have a special George Kosh Recognition Day. It is easy. And first of all, I got to say this, hope you don't mind. They're remodeling their house. You know what that means? That's like a kiss of death. For 5 years, I was involved with refurbishing my house. It almost killed me. My stress level was through the roof. They're all named Vinny. I think we'll read that article today. So here's the deal. We need to all revive. We need to take what they call in the church a retreat. There isn't a church going, I don't care if it's a little brown church in Vale or the one pretty church in New York, it doesn't have retreats. You know why? Because the world does get with us straight, and now the world is too much with us. And now I'm missing that word for TSA. We need to be refreshed. We need to take time. And look, I'm the perfect person for the lie. That's a lie, you know. In my case, I don't know how to get off the Ferris wheel if I could.
Yeah, I'm not sure you know how to do that, Dr. Lant.
Well, my father always said, don't listen to what I say, do by what I do, not I say. So I'm telling you, don't listen to me, but just do it.
Yeah.
We are at a time in our history where we've been doing this for 23 years, and doing it, and doing it, and doing it. We've had millions of people drop by who didn't get it, who spent time on it, and it's truly it gets exhausting, doesn't it, Dale? Sometimes you have days you say, is this all there is? And then you call Miss Peggy and say, is that all there is? If that's all there is, then let's keep dancing. And I say to all of you, I understand you get frustrated. I understand you get worn out. You know what I say to you is, go to the local pie shop and get a couple of lemon for a cream and let them fly. People who need them desperately. And I don't mean to eat, I mean to wear. Dale, have you got anything to say about this? Because I sense that there's a moment of a bit of a dip. And the dip says, we work so hard. And let me tell you this. I want to remind you, not only have you worked hard, you've empowered people all over the world. Remember what Tip said, the president. We've been empowering people for 23 years. That's as long as 3 presidential administrations. We've been there. Every Christmas, every Thanksgiving Day, every 4th of July, we've been there. We've taken the same questions 1 billion times. We've taken them with grace, taken them with as much restraint as we can arouse, but we've taken them. So the first thing I want you to do, everyone, is recognize. Thank yourself. I want to see a round of applause for everybody in this room. And I'm going to start with me. I'm applauding me, and I'm applauding Dale, and I'm applauding Tiny Vic, and I'm applauding all the people who are up there. Dale, let's see those little hands. I want everyone to applaud themselves because you are the life and true blood of this organization. And there are days when you don't feel like doing it. There are days when you don't feel like being on this planet. Stop the world. I want to get off. No, everybody in this whole room had that kind of a day. And you might be having it today. But you've got to take the long view, and that's the hardest view to take. It's so easy to think for today. It's so easy to forget tomorrow. It's so easy that we can't possibly do it. And I want everyone, come on now, you people out there, come on. You see, they even don't want to, they don't even want to congratulate themselves. If it weren't for you people in this room, one of the most distinguished institutions in the world wouldn't exist. I'd be sitting here much like I am now writing books. I wouldn't know all of you. I wouldn't know what a tragedy it would be not to know you all. But I wouldn't. You wouldn't know me. You wouldn't know Kaj. You wouldn't know Sandy. You wouldn't know Dale Thompson.
That's right.
So I want to take a minute and congratulate us for what we have done. Not for what these people come in here and they say, oh, I don't have a dollar, I don't have a dollar. They lie, you know, every single one of them lies. And it's hard every day to have a complete component of lies. There isn't a day that goes by here in the World Live Business Center where people don't lie. You want to speak to that, Dale? They lie. They lie about their age. They lie about their money. They lie about their nationality. They lie about how much truth they can. They lie. And it's damn difficult to live with lies every day.
Most importantly, they lie about not having any money until they see the offer, and then all of a sudden they're the next newest dealer.
Now here's our next member. Carolyn, this is Dr. Lant. You know me and I know you. Dale Thompson, you know him. You may not actually know me. Carolyn, you and I have talked, haven't we? And I'm going to dedicate the remainder of this portion of this program to Carolyn. And I'm going to give her the honest truth. I'm going to give her the favor of telling her the truth. Carolyn, are you listening to me? You've got 2 minutes with your name on it, and that's all the minutes you're going to get. 2. And Miranda, and Casimir, and John, I have have deals, which if you four people don't take them, will prove to me that you're an idiot. Carolyn, are you going to speak to me? Because if you're not going to answer our hail, we're going to kick you out right now. We are here to do business, which means we are here to engage in mutually advantageous relations. Is that not so, Dave? How can we engage in mutually beneficial engagements when they say nothing?
That's right.
What do you want to say? What do you want to say to them? Say whatever you want to say, whatever your little heart. Just open it up and pour it on.
If you cannot communicate in this business, we are in a people business. And if you don't like dealing with people, then you need to get out of internet marketing, because that's what it's all about. It's communication and building relationships, and that's what we do here so well.
I require Carolyn and Numi and the rest of you to say hello to me. If you can't rise to a hello, I'm booting you out. I'm giving you 1 minute now. Carolyn, you got 1 minute. John, you got 1 minute. You see, I'm not like you guys. I'm not afraid of throwing them on the street because they have nowhere to go. Okay, Carolyn, you're absolutely dead wrong. Are you willing to keep an open mind, or are you going to go out of here? Carolyn, if you maintain that point of view, which is 100% wrong, I'm going to kick you right out of here. There's going to be my stamp. It's going to be on your hide. Dr. J. Lant. It's going to say, Dr. J. Lant booted you out of the Worldprofit Business Center 20th April 2015. It is not confusing. You may be confused, but it is not confusing. Now, you want to do business with me, or do you want to complain? I'm not in, and you may have gathered I am not in a complaining mood. Well, you got 30 seconds.
Dr. Lant.
Well, she's going to give us this is confusing, and I don't have the money. You see, the thing is, I'll tell you what I get disappointed. That you guys sometimes actually want to help those people. When people need help, what I expect from them is courteous acquiescence. What do you think about that?
I agree. Now, when you're struggling and someone offers you help, who's already been there and done it, then you've got to shut your mouth, open your ears. That's why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, because we're supposed to listen twice as much as we're supposed to talk. So, but the problem is that a lot of people, they don't know how to listen. They think they know.
It's not a problem. That's their problem. It's not a problem. It's their problem. We each make too many allowances for too many people. Too many allowances for too many people. And I'm going to throw them down the gauntlet. We have before the house 25 units where we're giving away the second month for free. If there are people out there who say, I need to ask my mother-in-law, you know what? Ask mother-in-law this. Why were you born so beautiful? Why were you born at all? You're nobody good to anyone. You're nobody good at all. Say that. Just sing it out. Sing out, Louise.
I don't know the words.
That's what a song for rubber buggers. They sing that in the stands in Glasgow. I use it a lot myself here on the screen because some of these people are just like from another dimension. I pity them, I feel sorry for them, but not very much. A little itsy bitsy bit. So
you have to have a certain amount. You have to have a certain amount of empathy or feeling.
Only for people who deserve it. If a person gets run over by a bus and it's the bus company's fault, I feel angry on behalf of the person run over. When a person goes down to watch the Boston Marathon and gets killed at 8 years old, I have nothing but empathy for that family. Nothing. Which is why I can't even begin to tell you how we have this thing going on in Boston now. First of all, we're going to be having the coverage of it. Everybody wants to get through this day with no incidents. We might as well put no incidents on our forehead. Nobody but a potential terrorist could possibly wish more prosperity on this day than everybody's doing. We're all praying that it goes well. I guess if the Kenyans and the Ethiopians who win every year are winning this year, we must be back to normal. Denise and Dick, Richard, Martin's parents, went forward with a massive front page article in the Boston Globe urging life with no parole. And it just stopped the city. Because we knew that was the nail in the coffin of execution, capital punishment. And I read it, and I'm totally against 100% of what they say. But since they lost the marquee face, if you will, my friend Martin, age 10 now, who would be, that I say, and the prosecutor called him up and basically said, "You're a hard act to follow." I mean, he was the federal authorities want the death penalty. The state of Massachusetts doesn't want to concur, and after that article, I don't see how we can concur. I think that article was the end of it. I think we'll get life without parole, and I firmly believe that Matt-Boyle will be paroled in 30 years. And if he is, and if that happens and I'm still around, I'm going to stand up and say, "I told you so, it was a bad idea." But the parents of one of the youngest victims say they want not amnesty, but life without parole. What can you do? If the ball game was over when they picked up the phone, the prosecutor and the attorney knew it. So the Richards, who had to give their supreme sacrifice, well, they turned the action that day 2 years ago. They turned the action this year. What do you have to say about that? It's an impossible act to follow if you're pro-death penalty.
Absolutely, but my thing is for someone who took lives, why would you want to spend taxpayer money for the next 30 years to keep that guy alive? I mean, it's not a bad gig in jail. You get 3 squares a day. You get to go to, and you get to be educated and, all these things. Yeah, you have to deal with a few butt buddies, but, for the most part, I just don't get it. My attitude is the Shah had the right idea in Iran before he was over, an eye for an eye. You steal, you get a finger cut off. You kill, you get the death penalty. That's my attitude. You say I'm a liberal, Dr. Lant, but in things like that,
sometimes you're not.
I don't get it. Because they're not going to be rehabilitated. He'll get out in 20 years or 30 years, and he'll get re-recruited, and he'll do the same thing over again. He hasn't learned a lesson.
This is the argument that is now, I think, trending to gospel. And this is a line that's invariably used. Boston is better than that. Massachusetts is better than that. I think that's an insulting phrase, that somehow those who are in favor of capital punishment are lower animals. I don't agree with that.
That lost loved ones. Is life without parole? Is that closure for those families?
Well, that's what they say.
That's kind of saying, well, sorry, but your loved one, they kind of died in vain because this guy's he's gonna live, on taxpayer money for the next 30 years.
My father wanted me to become a prosecuting attorney.
Would have been a good,
and was very disappointed when I chose not to go to law school. But I've been thinking about that over the course of the last several weeks as the summer anniversary impended. I want you to listen to this argument. Those son of brothers worked 3 blocks from where I'm talking now. This is a neighborhood crime. And they were going to blow what's called the Esplanade on the 4th of July, where the great American 4th of July pageant plays itself out on what's called the Esplanade, which is right next to the Charles River. And every one of his brothers goes there. That's where Nelson Mandela ended up. That's where Pope John II ended up. Everybody goes there. I've been there. I can't go anymore because if I get crashed, it's and nobody's gospel friendly. I'd have to be brought in a mattress. But they were on their way, and they figured that they couldn't wait long enough. The risk of being discovered was too great to wait till the 4th of July. So you notice, look at the calendar. April 15th, April 20th rather, July 4th. So they decided they couldn't wait that long. They would be apprehended for sure. Somebody would turn them in, and a lot of people knew. And so they decided to go over to the marathon, which was convenient. It was a crime of proximity, opportunity. And I ask you to think about this. You have to start, if you've been to Boston before, it'll make it that much easier. He had his carrying device, called a satchel, with all the weapons which he got from a hardware store, Ace Hardware, Tags, it's called, Tags Hardware up at Reporter Square, 15 minutes from here. And he walked along the sidewalks looking for his victim. To talk about death stalking the innocent, he was literally doing it. And nobody was paying much attention to him, and he found his targets. And he was 8 years old, his name was Martin, and he deposited his weapons there, and Martin was the first one to die. Now, if I were a prosecuting attorney, and I certainly think like one, I would be taking a step down that sidewalk death as the man, the victimizer, looked for his prey. And then to think of that murderer living in any way, shape, or form,
right,
sickens me.
You're right.
If you call me then I'm not worth it, that we're bigger than death penalty, that we're above it, we've evolved, I tell you, we haven't. And so today, in honor of Martin, I'm going to empower 25 more people to prosperity. That's what people should be doing. They should be helping each other achieve economic well-being and stability, instead of figuring out which innocent person they're going to kill. You will never, and I know my neighbors so well. Dale, I've got to tell you that 89% of the vote in Cambridge is Democratic. 89%. And I know what that means, and I hear all the rhetoric, and I just can't bring it in my heart not to hate that killer, in order to do him an acute disservice as painfully as possible. Okay, Carolyn, you're back out of the, but you don't hear us. We would like to speak to Carolyn, although she's going to be a handful, I can already tell, and but I'm in a mood to throw those mud pies right back to you. I put my Harvard clothes in the closet, and I'm up here to fight mud wrestle people. Well, let's carry on. Again, I want to say something. It is easy to get demoralized when you say the same thing every day. Very easy. It gets tired. I've worked for many political candidates, and the 450,000th time they give the speech, they're tired. They're bone-killingly tired. They're so tired they can't even imagine what tired is all about. What could tired be but that? And I say to you, I know that some of you are tired. Building a business is a tiring thing. It's also a privilege. When you look at the people that are pouring into Worldprofit from all these countries, Ethiopia, Kenya, Mauritius, Afghanistan, they've got nothing, and they're on you to help them out. Take a day off, take 2 days off, take a day off, go to Bermuda, but don't give it up. You know too much, you've done too much, you have too much to give it up. If you're upset for any reason, call me, I'll beat you into a pulp. It'll be my pleasure to pulverize you and tell you what a weasel you are. And I'll do it, and you know it. What do you think about that, Dale? I'm not going to do a little pity party for anybody.
You're not one to mince words or beat around the bush, that's for sure. And that's what I appreciate so much about you, is the fact that you'll kick somebody in the ass when they need it, and you'll pat them on the head when it's
I'll kick him and I'll love him at the same time. Boy, I could have been a yogi with twisting legs and amazing arms. I've been on my own for business now for almost 50 years. And I've learned a thing or two. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have days that you don't understand. People are going to tell you things that are not going to come through. I can guarantee it. People are going to steal from you. I guarantee it. People are going to make stuff up. Pull you in. Spit you out. A little lighter in the pocket. People are going to tell you that they can't do it when they can do it. They're going to lie to you about their economic situation, about their political situation, about the revolution in their country. They're going to lie. And if you are bothered by that, you will never make a nickel in business. We used to say that the biggest discussion you couldn't talk about was sex. Yeah, sex. You want sex? Go to the front page of the New York Times. They'd also say you wouldn't talk about religion. Religion. We don't talk about religion. We have religious people killing. We don't talk about them. We'll just decapitate them. People used to say that you couldn't talk about money. Nah, money is the only thing left that has any interest. But what can you talk about if you can't talk about those things? You can talk about whatever will help somebody make a go of it. Everyday good people come in here, and I am not prepared to write them off. Whatever they say. You got to put yourself, opinions about yourself in the closet. If you had as many nasty things said about you as they have about me, you have to take a powder. You have to take a couple of extra Valium tonight. My father says, how do you take it? I said, I take it. I can take it. I consider the source, and we move on. Nobody who ever achieved anything notable in this country got there by posies and sweetums, sugar candies and sugar pies. They got there because they didn't listen to people who were out there to hurt, kill, maim. Yeah, are you with me? So I know some of you are tired out. Call me. I'll give you a once-over you will never forget. I will call you every name in the book. I will call you a quitter. I'll call you a weasel. I'll call you a chicken-hearted. Yeah, you get the picture. And I'll be more than justified. Anybody want to start right now? Anybody ready? Robert, Wesley, Norman, you want to go mud wrestle with me? I may look like a frail Harvard man, but the truth of the matter is I'm a slow, dirty street fighter if necessary. Now, who is ready to reaffirm that we're going to go into the summer? We have 10 more days left of this month. I'm going to be with Dale. I'm doing a little camping number. My theme song is Camping Along the Potomac Tonight. Camping tonight, camping tonight, camping along the Potomac tonight. Yep, it's that Civil War song. I'm going to be camping out with you people. We're going to laugh. I'm going to give you some presents. I'm going to tell your mother about you. The good things, of course. There's a very famous passage in Henry II where Henry II is besieging the fortress town of Harfleur. He's having a hell of a time. And he does what all the great leaders do. As the night fell, the damp came in, he walked through his camp. A little word of cheer there, a little bit of grog there, a little hug and a cuddle there. And he called himself and said, this is a little bit of Henry in the night. That's me. And I remember his famous story about Robert Kennedy. He had a marvelous home in Virginia. With volunteers that year that he was killed, he had a reputation of being a weasel. And he was. He mouthed it off, and he did. He was a no-no. Oh, yes, he was. And one day JFK was having lunch with somebody.
There are a lot
Robert Kennedy was on one side. Oh, hold that horse, man. And Robert Kennedy had a very high-pitched voice. JFK turned to his lunch partner and said, see, I have to cope with this every single freaking day. Anyway, Robert Kennedy was going through his house, tucked me in the troops. One of them kind of flickered his eyes over and he said, is this the wicked Bobby we've all heard so much about? Leaders get attacked. That's what we do. We take it better than you do. That's why we stay leaders. Now, you were about to say.
I was just going to say that there are a lot of people that believe that you talk about Bobby Kennedy. A lot of people believe that was JFK was a mob. It was a payback for Kennedy going after all the all the mobsters.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about the FBI and J. Edgar Hoover. The reason he kept good files on everybody was because he was going out with a guy named Clyde. They both liked to be transvestites and jump up and have a good part-time party. And now I'm not making that up. That's gospel food. Clyde Tolson was the gentleman's name, and there were a lot of pictures. Oh, no, Robert, you do no wrong today. Robert, no one's going to believe you until you call my bluff. Don't you write little messages. That's the coward's way out. You hear me? Coward, C-O-W-A-R-D. Look it up. Now, I'm going to go through the list here and see what I can do to help people out. I want you all to offer every single person the full offer. Dale can comment on that. I'm not going there. Offer them everything we've got. That's 25.
We'll never know.
25 people only, and
Never
then a free
know,
day.
Robert.
Free month, man. You see, I live in a city where everybody is a genius, and I mean it. Well, how do you suppose they get to Harvard? There's like hundreds of people applying for each place. It's not easy to get here. It's real easy to get kicked out. What I learned from Harvard is this. And this came about from Robert Frost. Robert Frost was a friend of JFK's. Robert Frost was a Cambridge man, a Harvard man. A man who lived in Cambridge for many, many years. And he went to see JFK before the Democratic National Convention in 1960, and he said, "You are Irish, and you are Harvard. To be president, you must be more Harvard. You must be more Irish than Harvard. To be president, you must be more Irish than Harvard." So I thought about that. You know that's right. If I'm going to get ahead to it, I got to be more Illinois than Harvard. If I went by the Harvard standards, we'd all be, oh, it's very, very advanced theorizing, Dale, on everything that doesn't have any particular use.
That doesn't.
My classmates at Harvard used to say, "You're a money-grubbing capitalist pig." I said, "Yeah, and I'm proud of it, you morons. Well, I'm going to be supporting you the rest of my life on welfare because you have crusty ideas and no reality." Robert Wesley Norman, play the game with me and you'll be a hero. Don't play the game at all and you'll be a chump. Now, let's carry on here. I want to congratulate, again, as I've done so many times, Patrice Porter. The lady is a toughie. Now, listen to me. She lives up there in some forest with a bunch of Grimm's fairy tale characters. And she's doing good for the world. She's a consummate do-gooder. But she's learned from me that do-gooderisms need a structure. You can't just love humanity. You know what they say? I love humanity. It's people I can't stand. You got to get out there and get dirty. You got to mud wrestle. You got to get where the people are. One day, one of my professors at Harvard, H. Stuart Hughes, was a very famous man. His father was Solicitor General of the United States. His grandfather was Charles Evans Hughes, who ran against Woodrow Wilson for president. He was governor of New York. He was the Chief Justice of the United States. He came from a distinguished family. He decided to run for Senate of the United States for the seat that later became Teddy Kennedy's. And he was down there in Fall River, where all dirty people hang out. Hispanics, blacks, drug dealers, malfeasors of every kind. He had a phaser for himself, but he got trapped in a corner. The guy had a lot of onions for lunch. Portuguese, we call them the guineas. A lot of onions on the tray. And he couldn't get out from this one. The guy who happened to be there, he got out of the clinch. He pushed his way out and he said, "I'm never going to run for anything again. I'm never going to come to Fall River again." And I said, "Senator, you just ceased to be a senator. When you want to achieve great results, get your fingers dirty, get your hands dirty, get into the muck." Teddy Roosevelt wrote a marvelous speech in the Sorbonne in 10 called the Man in the Arena speech. He said, "All credit goes to the man in the arena." And I respect that person even if I don't agree with their politics or anything else. I love them because they're living out their beliefs. You know who's living out their beliefs these days? The terrorists. Those people aren't killing people for the joy of it. They're just killing people because they have a view. It's the wrong view. The death-dealing view, but it's a view. You see, look at their eyes of those terrorists. You see commitment. You look at some of the eyes of these people over here, and it spells, well, defeat. What do you think about that, Dale? Control of the world will go to the people who are most committed to controlling the world, doing good for the world. And I told you guys yesterday that, after reading an article from the New York Times yesterday, the Associated Press, 221 million children around the Middle East, Egypt, Syria, Lebanon, will never see one day of education in their lives. Not a day. Which will mean they'll also have health problems, residence problems, any kind of problem you can name.
Well, that's how these religious sects win. They keep
of course.
people uneducated and poor, and so they that makes them perfect targets for recruitment because they don't know any better.
Those children are our biggest enemy. Quote me. Do I have an audacious quote for this program? Those 221 million children are our greatest enemy because they have nothing to lose. We have everything that they want. Well, Miss Patrice Porter, in a minute I'm going to ask you to come up and do the hula dance. Show us what you're up to these days. I want to say congratulations and thanks to Reverend Lacey. She's a dark horse, and I want to tell you about her. And I'm afraid in that I'm going to have to tell a little story that you and I know. And that Reverend Lacey a few years ago wrote a letter to my colleagues and said, Lant's got to go. Get rid of it. Oh, God, she waxed eloquent about my innumerable flaws, every one of which is true. And, of course, she wished that she had hit the send key real fast. I picked it up and said, now what's this problem? He contacted my colleagues, contact me. They can't do anything to me. What do you think they're going to do? Throw me in the street? They might like to from time to time. They might even be warranted, but it ain't going to happen. And Annette learned a lesson that day. Come, let us reason together. Whatever you say about me has been said before and in better terms and in better places. Better grammar, too. Better lyric poetry. So get over the point of use. If you've got a new crime, please tell me, because I'm getting bored with the old ones. I've seen that reruns of that program too long. And Annette learned a lesson that day. She learned to coming and talking to me, she could get through. And I'm going to ask her when she comes up, what did you learn from that day, Annette, so long ago? Because every time you mention it to her, she goes, oh my God, I never should have hit that send key. No, you shouldn't. But you did, so we can deal with reality where we find it. And William Buck, what can I say about him? Except that he's winning the titanium contest with me. William Buck and I are in contest to see who can wear the most titanium. Yep, he's got winning right now. He's got more in his back than I have in my teeth. But I'm still in the contention. William Buck literally hurts every time he gets up to talk to us. He's in pain. That is not pleasant, as I know. And I admire him a lot, and I had the opportunity to write an article about him, which I said so. Do you know that when I was growing up, in Downers Grove, Illinois, there wasn't a black person in the entire city? I didn't even know anyone who was black until I was 20. I didn't know anyone of that. And I am so glad that I have my friends, Reverend Harris, Reverend Buck, to chew up. Oh, we have such biblical discussions. Positively rousing. We discuss everything in the Bible, and they give me their more traditional point of view, and I rep it to and say, let's think about it this way. It's fun to have part of the black pastorate in Worldprofit, and I am so proud they chose to be with me. Because God knows I must drive them crazy. But what about the Good Samaritan, Reverend Buck? But what about this? What about Peter and Paul? He must go, oh my God Almighty. 3 hours later, we're still angry. That would have been inconceivable when I was a little boy and growing up in Illinois. There has been progress. It's been good. And I've listened to Dale Thompson, too, many times. Dale's had a tough go. His father died, his mother died. They were great people. And he felt guilty. I know he felt guilty, although I never told him about this. Dale, they loved you. They told you so. Any guilt that you may have, deposit it at the door in a sack. Get rid of it. You did well. You did what you had to do. You did it with grace. They knew it. And they died It's not that they died that there was a problem. That wasn't the problem. That happens to all of us. You remember your father's last words, that you treated him perfectly well, and he was glad. And that summarized you. Now internalize what he said. Now I'm going to ask.
It's not a day go by I don't think about that.
But I hope you feel guilt about it. Think about it, but do not give in to guilt because you didn't do anything to feel guilt about.
No,
it pains me to see good people guilty. Well, every once in a while you dance on the edge. We're going to dance on the edge and we're going to sell tickets.
I did everything.
Does anyone want to say anything? And they knew it.
Yeah, no.
They knew it.
You know.
The hardest thing in life is to accept death.
Yep.
And I don't care how uplifting the discussion is and all this. It's the absolute most difficult thing.
Especially when it hits home.
When Casey Taylor died the other day, it was just the last straw. Because I loved her so much. So those of you that didn't know her, she was constantly cheerful. I never saw her anything other than cheerful even on the days that she was in the worst pain. She made it a point to spread joy. And God, you gotta love a person like that. And I did. And Doyle Taylor told me, he said, you know that she loved us both. And I waited for the punchline. She said, but you were really, really, really far in the rear. You were far in second place. She didn't live. Yeah, Dale, I know. We don't. It was funny. We were both hurting, and that was the rock. She loved me most. Yes, I know.
Yeah, that sounds like Doyle. Something he would say.
Ba-bum, ba-boom, bop. Headline. Let's do this. Let's bring Miss Patrice up for some comments and bring Dale up to finish it off. And when you see that rapscallion, whatever his name is. Oh, yes, Jehovah. No, not that either. Jeremiah. Oh, yeah, that one. Kick him in the shins and tell him he was a goofball. Now, as Dale goes down, Patrice is going to come up, and then Dale will come up with me to finish the program. We are going to spend the next several days empowering 25 people. And I'm going to camp out here. I got my blankets, I got my chocolate bars, I've got all. I'm ready to go.
You're ready, and it's recorded for anybody that wants to catch the replays and catch that offer. I mean, it'll be up there for how long they keep YouTube videos up.
A couple hundred years.
Yeah. It's up on the YouTube channel Patrice Porter. And it'll also be up on the Worldprofit Tube at www.worldprofittube.com. And that being said, if you want to check out my home business central I've built here at Worldprofit, it's at www.20waystoprofit.com. And it's here at Worldprofit that I've been able to exceed and with the nudges and you moving us forward, Dr. Lant, and George's expertise and level-headed training and patience that enables us to move forward. And although you're a very hard taskmaster, we are definitely better off for it. So
let me say something about that. You know what our harsh taskmasters? Poverty. Disease.
Very much, yes, that would be, yeah.
Lack of clean water, lack of clean food, lack of clean air. Those are hard taskmasters.
Yeah. When your life is on stake.
Pitiable wreck who just gets out there.
That's true.
I want to bring up something and see what you say about this. There's a special serenity that comes with people who work in the soil.
Oh.
They're calmer. They are focused. They understand that there's a task at hand and they don't get the luxury of moaning. If you want to grow a piece of corn, you know what? You got to plant the seed, you got to tend to the seed, you got to take rid of the weeds and the whole bit. What do you want to say about that? You are remarkably balanced
Well,
we see so many people that come in here, and balance is the last word in the world we use it in reference to them.
I do find very much a joy of working with the plants and seeing things grow and thrive and scientifically they actually say there's antidepressants, a natural antidepressant in the soil. So it's just something that happens when working with the dirt and plants. It brings peace of mind and joy, and this is a very busy time of year, and I'm busy with working in the dirt, loving every minute, and sharing that with people. I want to tell you something that
I've never told you before.
At my gardening business.
Don't go away yet.
Okay, I'm just sharing that. Share that gardening experience with people at my gardening business at www.gardeningforfoodsecurity.com. I would sure like to see more people growing their own food and working with the soil. It's a beautiful experience.
When I was about 25, I had a great friend named Nancy Saunders who was about 80. And she was one of the most famous gardeners in England. She used to have me down at her very lovely home in Gloucestershire. She taught me. Meanwhile, while I was being the drudge, of course, we moved this here, move this mulch here. It wasn't just, it wasn't in a classroom. These were comments delivered in the midst of plants. And she taught me about how to cut off this extra buds of roses to get perfect roses, to choose the one that was going to make it. I didn't listen to her as a gardening master. I listened to her as a healing master. Because what she said was so applicable. And I used to enjoy it so much. In the evening, we would have a simple but delicious meal out of her garden. And she was into books like I was into books. We liked lots of the same books. We would have these funny discussions. And she would invite a couple of elderly friends over. It's just, I don't understand what that does with this in the United States, but we don't have that. We just don't have that kind of society in this country, which is a great problem. But I often think about Hugh and Nancy Saunders in the same breath. She was a great lady and very opinionated and very sharp on the uptake.
Well, thank you very much.
It wasn't a pushover. I had to fight for something. Anyway, that's my compliment to you for today. Do you have anything further to say to these people? We have 25 units now. 25 units, and that's what we've got.
And that's a wonderful opportunity for folks. So make sure you folks fill out that short form. Come on in and grab it while it's here. It's only 25 packages. So, and with that, I will say my adieus. Until the next Anything Goes, 1 p.m. Eastern. Bye for now.
Now, before we bring up Dale for his final remarks, I'd like to bring up Annette Lacey for a minute. Annette, do you care to rebut or comment or embroider anything that I said about you? If you wouldn't, and that's not quite ready yet, we'll bring Dale back. We'll give him that 30 seconds here to come up. Jaime Diaz, Canosa, you've been here so many times, you never respond. We're going to give you 2 minutes. Dale, why don't you come up and we'll finish our end of the program. Dale, that doesn't seem to be available. Where's Dale?
There I is.
Now, you get to give your final result, remarks. This is a program that I needed to do for a while. I understand that I'm a kind of a drudge. Drudgery, I have always known as part of the human condition. It's nothing to be complained about. It's just to get on with and do it. It's not pleasant. It isn't pleasant, but the end result is highly desirable. What do you want to say as a final thought today?
Well, just that with back to Amber here is that it really teaches you how to. I mean, I just really don't understand the out there that that don't take the opportunity to be mentored by brilliant marketing minds. I mean, what I've learned in the last several years about marketing and continue to learn, it's incredible. That's one of the reasons why I came back, was the fact that I wanted that I've done it and know what it takes to be successful. Those of you that are out there looking in, you need to take this opportunity, especially with the 25 packages. As I said before, 60 days for $99.95 to be mentored by, two of the most marketing minds on the face of the earth is, you can't put a price tag on that. And it's not, I mean, George, you're up here every single day teaching, and George with his Friday morning classes, it's a chance to get down and dirty and really learn from that. And so I urge those of you that are out there to, whatever you have to do, it's not easy. It's a stretch for a lot of people, but the payoff is big time. By what you learn here, if you apply it, is worth it's worth 100 million times more than the price of admission.
Let me tell you something that bothers me when you think about it. The most successful marketers on the planet today reside amongst the terrorists. And I say this with great despair, concern. The most successful marketers on earth are with the terrorists. They have goal, they have desire, they have commitment. They are, whether you like it or not. The most efficiently organized people in the world are the drug dealers. They have a huge international, multinational corporation. They were in the money. When I heard the drug dealers were running their own submarines off the coast of the Americas, I thought, my God, what is next? People, we have our work cut out for us in the next generation. It starts here and it starts now. If you're not willing to do a little bit extra to help the world, then I can most assure you, whether you like it or not, the world will end up on your doorstep. And that's what Elizabeth English and I will be talking about tonight. How the war came to my very doorstep. How Elizabeth English, that wisp of a dandelion that she is, that steppity crackety New Yorker, how did she help me out? We're going to be talking about this at 7 o'clock tonight. It's going to be extremely thought-provoking. You're not going to like what we say. We don't even expect you to agree with us, but we expect you to think about it as our point of view as married. Dale, any thought about that? 7 p.m. Eastern here. We're going to be talking about the second anniversary of the marathon. We're going to be talking about average people in the war on their doorstep, what they did, how they did it, what we learned from the experience. Very provocative program, 7 Eastern in this space. Invite your friends, invite your mother. She'll think you're keeping better company than you are. Dale, any last thought from you?
No, I've said what I wanted to say. Just, well, one other thing for Michael Camery out there. Michael, if you have the opportunity to become a mom.
Oh, don't hit him up so fast. Of course I'm going to. He was a monitor once. I want him back. He's a very smart character.
Right, then he needs
and I want him back. But Michael's playing. He knows I'm going to put the touch on him. So he's going to be coming into the shallows very slowly. And he's ready to be captured. I'm sure to capture him. Good point. Now, we're finished with Anything Goes. We're going to move into our next programming. And Stella, this is Dr.